Three, two, one. Welcome everybody to the Tactical Operations Center. We have a great guest with us today. His name is Danielle. He is currently in the Ukrainian army. He's served in action in the Battle of Backmut as well as Soleder and some other places. He's a really good guy. He's got some great insight for us. And Sir Daniel, I just wanted to take the time to thank you for your service personally, and really appreciate everything you got and what you're doing out there. And I want to remind everybody to support the show. Please subscribe. Remember, if you want to help us out, pull out the pin of that grenade, throw it at the like button, blow it up. It really helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it all. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the guest and everyone out there for support. So, Danielle, why don't you get into it and tell us your story?
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to be heard. My name is Danielle, call sign Detcom. I'm 34 years old. I was born in Kharkiv, raised in Donbass, and later moved on to Kyiv. Living in Kyiv since 1996, I guess. I used to make electronic music, DJ, make parties, and actually live in really happy life until the Russians came. Like first in 2014 and then with a full-scale invasion in 2022. I didn't see any option for me except enlisting, so like here I am.
So, Daniel,
After 2 years.
before the war started, like you were saying, you're into electronic music, you're a civilian. Let me ask you a question. When there was preparations for the war, before the invasion, did you kind of feel like this war was actually going to happen, or did it get you by surprise?
It didn't get me by surprise, but yeah, I wasn't like not 100% sure that these assholes will do such a dumb thing. But yeah, the probability always was. So I was kind of getting ready.
And can you kind of like tell us the situation before the full scale invasion in regards to 2014?
Well, it's hard to say, hard to remember. By that time, Ukrainian military was scattered, was destroyed by the previous corrupt president Yanukovych. Uh, it was defunded, demoralized, like serving in the army by that time were like kind of punishment for somebody, I guess. A lot of people bribed officials not to get drafted and stuff. But after the events of the revolution, the society was kind of united. So this big dream of finally getting all these post-Soviet shackles off. So I guess, yeah, we endured that time. And since that time, Ukrainian army got better.
What did you do? In did you take part in the Maidan Revolution?
Yeah, I did. Like an active part.
Can you talk about that at all?
Well, I was basically one of the protesters all the time. I won't tell much because, again, so much time passed. But, well, I was there almost every day and most of the nights.
And what was like
having
the
some funny, in some sort of telling funny experience fighting with the cops.
and like what was that really over? Why did it happen?
Well, first it started at a small protest by students because of Viktor Yanukovych, the ex-president, turned down the trade agreement with European Union. But after the cops brutally smashed their heads, the next day a lot of people joined the protest just to because everybody was tired of the situation, actually, of the president, of the corrupt government, of all this tying up with Russia. I don't know, it was like a breakpoint for our society. We just wanted changes. Kind of romantic
Understood.
dream, though, but still.
And at that point, did you like serve as a conscript in the military, or?
No, I didn't. I had some experience as a volunteer, but later I was kind of, I backed down by that time. I helped with a lot of volunteer projects later, but I never involved myself like in a combat
I understand.
since 2015.
And question, so when taking you back to like pre-invasion, this is around like September, October 2022, the United States, people were saying on the news constantly Russia was planning an invasion of Ukraine. Were you taking that seriously? Were you preparing for that in any way?
Well, again, I was not 100% sure that it will happen and when it will happen. But yeah, the probability was pretty high, so I kind of spoke with my friends. We went for some educational courses of tactical medicine. We went to shooting ranges, but like not nothing serious in terms of training. Also, yeah, we were kind of hoping that it will never happen, especially when the protests in Kazakhstan rose up and the Russians sent their army there. We thought like, okay, maybe not this time. But yeah, in
And
February it started.
yeah, so we can get right into that. So what happened the day of the invasion? Like, where were you?
I actually overslept the invasion. I woke up and, well, it was quiet. Uh, I started doing my early morning routine, getting ready to go to my workplace, and then I received a text from my friend. He was like, "So what you gonna do?" And I'm like, "What I'm gonna do about what?" He replied to me, "Don't you read the news? The war." I was like, "Oh, okay. Let's meet in an hour." So I've met with two guys, two my friends. We were looking where to go. We went to a recruitment station in my district, waited there for 3 hours. Nothing happened. We were already ready to fuck off and try the next morning, but later we've got an info that there's a new battalion of territorial defenses forming, so we went there, and after 40 minutes of some paperwork, we got our weapons and went to our first shift. That's how it started.
So this is in Kyiv. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Excuse me?
So this you were in Kiev when you joined up with the territorial
Yes.
defense. What was your first assignment like there?
It was really just a guard duty. So by that time, the territorial defense was mostly civilians and just a small percentage of the anti-terrorist operation veterans. Like, well, in 2014 it was called anti-terrorist operation. Mostly guardian duties, some smaller like support assignments, because by that time everybody treated territorial defense like, okay, they're good guys, they're volunteered, but they don't have experience, so they just unload the professional soldiers from like stupid daily work, like guardian duty, for example.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
block
but
posts.
but later we had some training like inside the unit, and we actually, this tradition never stops. We are still training every moment possible.
Uh,
So we kind of became real soldiers now. But yeah, by that time we were just rooks with the guns,
Absolutely, you
or
have to
hobos with the
constantly.
guns, whatever.
Yep, sharpen that spear. Always got to train, for combat readiness.
Yeah,
Let
of
me
course.
ask you a question. At that time, what like did you have foreign instructors working with you, or were you just kind of using the veterans from the Donbass conflict? You called it the anti-terrorist operation. Were they kind of teaching you guys methods, or?
Yes, actually, yes, they did. Well, my commander is a veteran of anti-terrorist operations, so he personally oversees all the process. Also, the company sergeant and some other guys like platoon commanders. Uh, Yeah, we had our shifts on checkpoints, on guarding posts, and later we had some trainings, uh, like movement with tactical, with medicine, a lot of trainings with medicine, and of course shooting. And well, it happened before our first deployment outside the Kyiv region.
Can I ask you a question? So some of our viewers can kind of understand, get a picture in their head of exactly what the Russians were doing around the city of Kiev at this time, like in places like Irpin or Bucha. What type of like war crimes were these people committing? Like, what was the horrors like upon the civilian population?
Well, I think everybody's seen the news from that period, and well, I don't think I can add something more. I can just say that a lot of things were confirmed by civilians whom I've spoken with. That's all.
Okay. And so after the Battle of Kiev, were you pretty much surprised when the Russians withdrew from the area?
Actually, no, because well, I was very well aware of the situation that happened with that big, almost 40 kilometers land military convoy of Russians that was destroyed near the village of Pribirsk and village of Ivankiv, like northern from Kiev, like 100 kilometers something. They failed to take the airport, the Antonov airfield, and they failed in advancing towards Kiev. So it was not surprised that they will fuck off eventually.
Do you have any like rough numbers of estimate on how many casualties the Russians sustained at that time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I can say that still, I drive that road from time to time, and I can still see some scattered remains of Russian armored vehicles and some litter, like from the Russians' MREs and stuff.
And what about landmines? Is there still a lot of
It is
undetected?
still a thing, yeah.
So it's quite dangerous still.
Yes,
Yeah.
still.
So when the Russians withdrew, like what was next? Where did they send you?
We waited for some time, continued training, and then we had our first assignment to go to the Mykolaiv region, to the southern front, and actually spend the next 6 months there,
And
slowly moving towards Kherson.
and what was that like? Was did you get your first like real piece of combat in there?
Kinda, yeah. Well, most of the time we were still lurking into holes, hiding from the shelling, but some parts of our unit actually had close quarter combats a lot.
Yeah.
My battalion was involved in liberation of the village of Pravdine in Kherson region. Uh, that was a kind of bloody mess, and well, there is another story, but I don't think I want to share it today.
Okay. Yeah, just you can share wherever you feel comfortable going with. It's free discussion, no pressure.
Okay.
Another question then. While you were down there, were you also surprised when the Russians withdrew from Kherson as well?
Well, that's a kind of not so funny story. Thing is, we've been pulled off for R&R just like 1 week and a half before Kherson was liberated.
Wow.
Yeah, we were kind of happy that we went home to Kyiv to see friends and relatives, but we were also pissed off that we didn't take part in that action.
Yeah, you didn't get the glory of riding into the city.
Yeah, kind of. Especially seeing the videos from the guys from 28th Mechanized Brigade, because, well, we were serving with them like an additional unit. So, yeah. We knew the guys, we spent a lot of time with them, and we were like pissed off that we couldn't share the moment with them.
And down on that sector of the battlefield, was it mainly just like artillery or drones be the main like threat?
artillery in the most, because drones weren't such a big thing back in the day. Like, yeah, it developed the last year.
Like those
2022,
FPVs.
it was just about aerial reconnaissance, and that's all.
Understand. So, after the liberation of Kherson, what did you do next? Where did they send you?
We were in Kyiv for 2 months. Well, what basic are is the guys had vacations, medical treatment, like repairing vehicles and training. And in the beginning of December, we got our second deployment, and we were stationed in the vicinity of the Vovchansk in Kharkiv region. Yes, so we basically had our positions on the border. Nothing serious like war still happened there, just a few small skirmishes, but in the end of January, we got orders and were redeployed from Vovchansk to the vicinity of Bakhmut.
Okay, so I just want to pause there for a second to ask you something before we get into the Battle of Bakhmut. Um, the training that you underwent in Kiev, what type of train? What was that like? Did you have foreign, instructors? How was it different from the training you received in the beginning?
No, we didn't have any foreign instructors by the time. Some guys from the battalion went abroad for some training, but basically everything for a majority of us happened here in Ukraine. Just like different types of situations played off. Like, I don't know how to say it properly in English, so I'm trying to explain the way I can do that.
Like reactive contact? Are you an infantryman?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that one.
All right. So
And actually, during that first R&R, we've got a lot of trainings with the drones, with the copters. Actually, that was the first time we started doing this in a big scale, because before that we had like only 2 or 3 drones on the whole battalion, but by that time we kind of geared up.
and was that like for FPV type drones or?
No, just copters and, well, again, reconnaissance and training was like throwing grenades down.
Cool. That's the fun stuff.
It is.
So, can you kind of bring us to the Bakhmut sector now? What happened there?
We were stationed in some fields between Blagodatna village and the village of Zalezhnyanske. Well, that was like the first really serious trials for our battalion. That's when we witnessed by our own eyes the waves of human meat that Russians sent towards us, and actually that was the Wagner group. So their tactic was like a wave after a wave to discover our positions. Then when we deal with those guys, artillery started working on us, a lot of artillery, and then another wave. So that's basically their tactics. Waves of people, artillery. Waves of people, artillery. And until like there is no place to hide, to cover up. So they finally advance.
How many like soldiers from Wagner were advancing during these waves, roughly?
A shitload of them. Like, for real.
Like like 50, 100?
Some were there. 50 plus.
And these guys, their commanders have no regard for human life, right? They just throw these guys right at you just to die, essentially, right?
I guess so. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Russians in general don't have much regards for human lives. Doesn't care if they're Russians or not, so That's no surprise. I was just hearing stories about that, but later, as I've said, we witnessed that with our own eyes. So, yeah, that's what was happening.
Was their strategy like was it successful in any way or?
Well, actually, it is because we can say that they overrun Backmut in the end. They encircled the town and, well, what's left of the town. And eventually they took it. After how many? Like 9 or 10 months since the beginning of the siege. Well, yeah, that's a brutal tactic, but, well, it's effective. I guess that's what they always do now. It's just a freaking Zerg rush.
It comes at such a horrible price of human life, and we see that the Ukrainians, you guys respect the lives of your soldiers, and you guys are willing to fight smarter, not harder, kind of
Yeah,
preserve.
because that's the only option we have, because we don't have so much manpower as they do. They can, well, know how cynical this sounds, but it's actually true. They can allow themselves to spend so many men for that. We can't allow ourselves to do that.
And was this also Soleder, or how did that come about, or was that right after Bakhmut?
No, my battalion served in Soleder direction, like later. So after we've had our fights in Bakhmut direction, in the middle of March 2023, we've been pulled up for R&R and actually spent almost 6 months on R&R. For that time, the battalion was reformed. My rifleman company transferred into a mechanized company. We had some trainings with like armored vehicles. We recruited new guys. We had a lot of trainings, and on the 1st of September 2023, we've been deployed to Donbass again. Till the middle of February, we were serving in Soleder direction, near the town of Siversk. And later we were redeployed to Marinka direction, near the town of Kurakhova. But yeah, it was like February.
Do you have any stories that would be inspirational in any way of like great heroism that you witnessed, or anyone in your company might have done in one of these battles?
Mostly, what can I say? What I've witnessed is how my medics just saved a lot of lives, like on a daily basis. But it became kind of routine thing at some point. So I don't know. Just we'll leave it there. Just believe me that I've seen a dozen of times where my medics just pulled the guys off, like back from the dead, almost back from the dead. For me, that was the most heroic thing I think I ever seen, because yeah, saving lives is the most precious thing people can do, I guess.
Absolutely. So when you were over in Solidar, how did like the dynamics of the battlefield change? Were the Russians still using these meat waves, or did they kind of?
Actually, no. They started using a lot of drones. I think in the end of September, beginning of October, we stopped moving during daytime, because they started using a lot of FPVs as kamikaze drones. We actually, how do you say it? We tried to reply with the same tactics. We assembled some stockpile of FPVs and explosives, and we already had trained pilots. We had some successes on that field. Regarding close combats, I remember only 2 occasions when Russians tried to storm up Ukrainian positions, and that's where not only our battalion was deployed, but in that direction there was a presidential brigade, there was a 54th Mechanized Brigade, who we were serving with as an additional unit, and a bunch of other guys like border patrol guys, some police force companies were serving there. Yeah, but in the end, the most combat was like drones and drones and drones, and Russians started using gliding bombs towards our positions.
What's a lightning bomb?
Thankfully, nobody from my company suffered from that. Just a few blast wave shocks, but no lethal casualties.
What is a lightning bomb?
A gliding bomb?
Yeah, gliding. Oh, gliding bomb.
Gliding bomb.
Because we have some viewers who are not familiar.
An FAB with some wings that glides towards whatever.
And did you get into like close engagements, like small arms engagements with the enemy often?
No, especially on the last deployment. And actually, last time I had serious shifts on the positions. It was March, because after that, I'll say that my duties becoming more and more a desk job from day to day.
So you've kind of pulled back from the front?
No, I'm still with my unit, but I'm not in the platoon anymore. I'm more like in company's commanding part.
Okay.
Because now I'm chief in command of our mechanized company for moral and psychological support.
Okay.
So I'm doing 90% of my job nowadays is paperwork.
Okay, so I have a few questions though for you. Have you seen at any time like Western weapons deployed on the front, or have you heard stories of them making a difference at all?
Well, I've personally seen these weapons in work, and it was fascinating. The first time I've seen the HIMARS missile launching in the knerson direction, I was like, wow, look at this.
Can you tell us about
Actually,
that?
in my company, we have some pieces of Western weaponry, like mortars and grenade launchers, the javelins. I've seen it too. And yeah, of course, it makes a difference. Well, the main difference is that we can still fight back instead of being just slaughtered defenseless, like the Russians did in Kyiv region and Bucha, and, well, you know. The armor shortages were visible because, well, when the Russians do a shitload of shelling our positions and we can't reply with something, that was kind of ridiculous and sad in the same time, in the same moment. So yeah, Western weaponry makes a big difference.
What else, like in terms, would you say that Ukraine needs, or like what else should the West like give to Ukraine so you guys can fight better?
Well, I hope that the jet fighters will make a difference, because these gliding bombs are actually a huge pain in the ass in the last months. If we will be able to draw these Russian planes, bombers back, so maybe we will regain advantage. as we had in the beginning.
And what about the manpower right now? Are you guys suffering at all from, like I don't know, kind of like a lack of troops who want to volunteer and go to the front lines?
Yeah, actually we do. It's not like everybody is trying to hide, but nothing like in the beginning of the war where people were storming the recruitment stations. Nothing of this is happening right now. So yeah, even yeah, we are at kind of shortage of manpower. Not so critical, but still is.
Well, what do you think?
But again, we had the advantage because thanks to Western weaponry that is more intelligent, more precise. Well, we don't have to waste like a shitload of shells just to advance for 100 meters. We can just do one or two precise strikes at some ammo storage or barracks of the enemy, and that could be enough.
Absolutely. What about just civilian life here in Ukraine right now? What are like the conditions like for average people?
Well, I don't know much about that because I wasn't living the civilian life past 2 years. I'm speaking just with a few of my friends and with my family. It's been hard, but they all say that it's nothing compared to what you guys have to endure. That's all. I guess the biggest problem right now is the power shortage. We have blackouts all the time. Yeah.
And what about like air defense systems and bombings and Shahid drones? Are there a lot of attacks on the Ukrainian cities every day?
Well, we see the news from the Kyiv, so yeah, that it is an issue. I don't think much of that happens in Kyiv. Most of the time, the anti-air defense shot the missiles down. Same goes to Shahed drones, but Kyiv is well defended now. For some time, as far as I remember, the Avdiivka and Marinka directions were almost no-fly zone for Russian planes, but later, when I said that the gliding bombs became a big issue for past months, so I guess that's the time when we were on shortage of anti-air missiles. I guess that was the impact, and another show of what difference does the Western equipment make.
I see. Well, is there anything? I know you're a busy guy. You're on your vacation right now, and it took me a while to get
No,
you.
I actually came back. I'm already at my unit.
Nice. I just want to give you the time to say whatever it is you want to say. Um, go ahead and
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be heard, and I want to thank everybody who supports and helps Ukraine to fight for its survival. I guess.
is there any way somebody can directly, I don't know, get a hold of you if they wanted to help, I don't know, donate something to your guys' unit or
I post the crowdfundings from time to time. Well, there is my Instagram, Detcom. Well, I'm there.
Okay, and I'll add the
Just
link,
reply
of
to
course.
everyone.
Yep. Well, I just personally want to say thank you for your service. Um, I understand that this war is not easy for anyone, and you are the guys on the front line, keeping this country safe, really defending freedom out here. So I just want to say thank you, and I know a lot of the viewers appreciate what you're doing, and we all have a lot of great respect for you.
Thank you. It's really pleasant to hear. I appreciate that.
All right, guys, that's going to conclude today's interview. That was Danielle Detcom, and I'm going to include his details so you'll be able to get in contact with him if anyone feels like donating or helping in some type of capacity. Please feel free to write him. Remember, guys, please help support the channel. Hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. All really appreciate it. And I just want to leave the message of tell the ones you love them, and stay safe. Crusader out. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.